City 4th District Representative Angelina Tan, who chairs the House Committee on Health. Health Secretary Francisco Duque, FDA Director General Eric Domingo, and Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez are also in attendance. Galvez opened the session with a presentation on the administration's vaccine roadmap, including the latest updates on the vaccines that the government is looking to procure. We'll loop you in on more updates on this later in the show. The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. We have some breaking news. The NBI has completed its forensic examination of the tissues obtained from the remains of flight attendant Christine Dacera. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara says the DOJ is currently coordinating with the Makati Medical Center to discuss related issues. He adds that the NBI digital forensic team will now proceed with the examination of data from the mobile phones of the persons of interest. Infectious disease expert Edsel Salvana allays vaccine-related fears amid reports that 23 Norway residents died after receiving Pfizer's BioNTech shots. Salvana pointed out that those who died in Norway were over the age of 85 and already suffering from various illnesses. He added that the side effects of the vaccine may have contributed to their deaths, but did not directly cause the same. Salvana explained that body pains and other flu-like symptoms are the normal side effects of vaccines. Thus, he says seniors should take extra precaution not to overexert themselves after receiving their shots.
Ang tinatarget pa lang po nun sa ngayon ay yung ating mga matatanda at yung ating mga frontliners at mga ibang at-risk population pa. Yung mga mas bata siguro na hindi naman imminent yung pwede silang mamatay dahil sa COVID, maganda po maghintay muna po ng konti pang datos para ma-justify po natin yung risk-benefit.
Salvana reiterated that for elders, the risk of contracting the virus is still far more dangerous than any side effects that the vaccines may cause.
Yung mga babatang tao, mukhang hindi naman po talaga problema. Katunayan, more than 35 million doses have already been given. And ito pa lang po yung naririnig natin, siguro handful of reports, less than 100 siguro. Ang maaaring may contribution yung vaccine sa pagkamatay. In contrast sa COVID po, lampas 2 milyon na yung namatay. So malaki po talaga yung difference in terms of yung vaccine na makaka-prevent ng COVID versus any kind of hindi pa naman proven possible bad side effects.
Let's take a look at the latest vaccine-related stories from around the world. Brazil has granted emergency use authorization to the vaccines manufactured by China's Sinovac and Britain's AstraZeneca. Vaccinations in the country, which was once a global leader in mass immunizations, was held up due to the delays in vaccine shipments and testing results. A 54-year-old nurse became the first person to be inoculated in Brazil, receiving China's Coronavac despite trial results showing that it only has 50% efficacy rate. India has also kicked off what was described as the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination drive. Around 190,000 medical workers and soldiers were the first to be inoculated in India. Over in the US, the Dodger Station in Los Angeles has been converted from a massive testing site into a vaccination center. Officials are hoping to vaccinate up to 12,000 people a day once the site becomes fully operational. Meanwhile, the city of Manila has launched its drive-thru COVID-19 swab testing facility at the Quirino Grandstand today. To give us the latest, we have Justine Punsalang. She's reporting to us live from Manila. Justine, could you tell us what you're seeing? I understand that some Manila residents were a bit disappointed this morning.
Yes, Charles. Confusion ensued this morning at the Quirino Grandstand as some people are not aware that the local government of Manila will no longer be conducting serology tests at the area. This is as the local government now slowly shifts to a full implementation of swab testing. This morning, residents who came to Quirino Grandstand for walk-in serology testing were told that the LGU will no longer conduct such tests. Starting today, only RT-PCR or swab testing will be conducted. However, those who want to undergo swab testing need to secure an appointment first at the Manila Emergency Operations Center. Some said, though, that the phone numbers to reach the MEOC or the MEOC are unresponsive. Ryan De Camos, who needed the swab test to go to the province, said that he and his wife were able to speak to a representative of Mayoc on Friday. They gave the representative their personal information. However, the two did not receive a confirmation for appointment. Because of this, the couple went to Quirino Grandstand this morning in hopes of getting tested as walk-in patients. But since they don't have an appointment, the couple was not accommodated. The Manila Health Department explained that if a person does not receive a confirmation, it probably means that all the slots for the day is already filled. 62-year-old Remedios Morales, meanwhile, was able to secure an appointment as early as Friday morning last week. She said that she was not exposed to the COVID-19 virus, nor did she experience any symptoms. Nevertheless, she wanted to get tested just for her peace of mind. Nanay Remedios is thankful that the local government of Manila is offering free swab testing, especially since it costs a few thousand pesos in private hospitals. Charles, the free swab testing project of Manila is free for all and not just limited to Manila residents. Although it is called drive-thru, residents or people who wanted to get tested without wheeled vehicles can still come because they have their own separate line. For those who wanted to get tested, they may call the numbers flash on your screens right now. Swab testing for today started at 8 a.m. and will end at 12 noon. And currently, it's still ongoing. And for those who wanted to come, just message or just call the numbers on your screen and get tested as early as tomorrow if there are still slots, because the slots are limited to 100 persons per day. Charles?
Thanks for that, Justine. That was Justine Punsalang reporting live from Manila. Let's check back in with Congress, where the House Committee on Health is leading today's hearing on the government's COVID-19 vaccination program.
OFWs, seafarers, low-income earners, and other workers. This framework shows the various drivers to improve citizen motivation and public uptake for COVID-19 vaccine. This framework also intends to address the impact of the dengue vaccine controversy. Nakita po natin na pababa ang public uptake from 66%. Now I think the latest surveys is 32%. This is a continuing challenge for all of us, particularly on communication and information time. On communication and community engagement, this will include televised weekly briefing every Wednesday, updating and scale up of Vida Solution sa COVID-19 thematic campaign alongside the need for continued minimum public health standards and dedicated web pages. Town hall meetings and trainings, both online and face-to-face, shall be conducted to multiply champions of vaccination and capacitate our healthcare workers to respond to questions from the community. Now we will go to the challenges and good practices lessons learned from other countries. At this juncture, I would like to share that we have also seen looking at the experiences of other countries to see what we can learn from their rollouts for consideration in our plan. A number of countries across the globe have begun their vaccination rollout as early as December 20. These countries are mainly rich countries which provided a huge amount of funding for the development of the vaccine. All in all, there are 42 of them, and majority of them came from the high-income countries. Challenges that have been encountered are many at the different levels in US, UK, Germany, and EU. Shown are the different analytic tools to record all the lapses, the gaps, and lessons learned from all the mistakes of other countries, ranging from administration, distribution of supplies, communication, and public uptake. Let us now look more closely at the case of Israel, which has shown early successes. Israel started its deployment on December 20, 2020. By January 2021, it had already administered doses to 12% of its population. He attributes its success to early preparations, efficient and highly digitized healthcare system, prescriptive registration of all adults, and effective centralized command and control. The following are the potential early learnings from the first few weeks of vaccine deployment in other countries in which we are closely watching and learning, particularly in large-scale rehearsals and integrated command and control. Finally, from the very start of this pandemic, our President has pushed for a whole-of-nation approach. The implementation of the national vaccination program is not a sole responsibility of the national government. This must be a whole-of-government, a whole-of-nation approach. To ensure efforts are synchronized and integrated, there must be strong leadership and governance starting from the President, the IATF, the National Task Force, with the DOH and the DILG playing crucial roles in exercising command and control, with the strong participation of the supportive academic societies, engaged government agencies and the private sector, highly committed LGUs and LCEs, adequately informed communities, and last and foremost, well-prepared health system, both the private and the public. It is only through this that we can implement a sustainable immunization program, essential to start economic recovery and restore normalcy in the lives of the Filipino people. In closing, I just wanted to emphasize the instruction of the President that we are not safe until everyone is safe. He always says to us that walang maiiwan, walang iwanan. So ang lahat po ng LG po natin at ang ating mga local government units, hindi po namin iiwanan. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayong lahat, Your Honors. Thank you very much, Your Honors.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Galvez. Before I call on Secretary Duque, may I recognize first the presence of our members. Representative Arlene Brosas, Representative Lucille Nava, Representative Micaela Violago, our member, Representative Alberto Pacquiao, our member, Representative Ron Salo, Representative Precious Hipolito Castelo, Representative Carlo Zarate, Representative Stella Kimbo, also a member, Representative Angelica Natasha Co, a member, Representative Cheryl Montalia is also a member, Representative Gil Acosta Jr. Also.
That was the House Committee on Health hearing on the government's vaccine roadmap. Earlier, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez revealed in his opening presentation that about 80% of the existing vaccine supply around the world has already been pre-procured by rich countries. He says the Philippines, along with other emerging nations, are left to fight for the remaining 18 to 20% of the supply. Galvez adds that the government has set aside about 82.5 billion pesos for the procurement of these vaccines. We'll be back with more updates later on, but for now, those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.